Los vínculos masculinos me interesan un poco en relación a cómo afectan el universo en general, no solo el universo de las mujeres, de los niños y de los viejos, sino también cómo estos vínculos actúan sobre el entorno, ya sea en las ciudades o en el caso de mis novelas, en la naturaleza. Creo que son relaciones bastante complejas que a veces tendemos a pensar las masculinidades como algo un poco obtuso y sin matices, y en cambio, por lo menos lo que me gusta explorar, pensar, imaginar en mis textos, en mis novelas, es cómo esas masculinidades tienen sus propios intríngulis, sus propias enredos, y por qué los varones o el ser un varón supone estos pactos, estas alianzas, estos conceptos de honor y de traición que termina afectando la vida de todas y de todos.
So this was a really hard book to translate. Selva has said that it's a kind of homage to where she grew up, and that the way that the characters speak is the way that she heard people around her speaking when she was a child. And that meant that kind of getting to grips with this regional language for me was really tough. I spent a lot of time asking Selva questions because there were lots of words that didn't appear in dictionaries, that when I looked for them on Google, there were no results. But then, as always with translation, sleuthing out what things mean is only the very beginning of the work, and then what you have to do is recreate the language in that same effect in English. And in this case, I didn't want to just kind of sub in a different kind of regional language and have these men sound like they were trout fishing in Oregon or salmon fishing in Scotland. I wanted them to sound like they were still on this island in the Paraná Delta. So I had to kind of piece together a palette of slang, a language that had the same kind of texture as the original, even if it didn't sound particularly rooted in any one place. And then that meant sometimes I was using phrases that exist in English, like having a character be drunk out of his tree, and sometimes that involved literally translating some phrases from the Argentinian Spanish. So I had a character also be pickled by the wine at some point. And yeah, in terms of capturing kind of the mood and rhythm, I think I took my cue from Selva, but she's talked about the original book being a kind of soundscape. And I thought, well, my translation can be a soundscape as well. It can include some of the same elements. It can include all the same silence, the same kind of sense of waiting and kind of, and it can include some of the same words. I kept some words untranslated from the Spanish and from Guarani, which is an indigenous language spoken in some parts of South America, but then also include things that are particular to English, like English kind of monosyllabic English words. So it was a soundscape that had echoes of Selva's original, but also sounded very different.
Me interesaba que la novela fuera breve, porque quería un poco tomar la condensación de la poesía y volcarla en contar esa historia. Me parecía que el ámbito, el universo, incluso la región donde transcurre la historia, es una región también de poetas. Es decir, que para mí era muy importante la referencia de la poesía en esa novela. Y bueno, ya sabemos que la poesía es sobre todo la síntesis, así que me concentré bastante en justamente lograr eso, y en que la novela fuera silenciosa.
This was a book that I really felt like I had to read around a lot before I started translating because it's so far outside my own experience. So I read fishing manuals, I read fishing memoirs, fishing novels, I went on some fishing forums, I watched fishing YouTube videos. And yeah, in part it was for the technical language, even just very basic things like kind of the rod butt and the reel handle. But I think more than that, what I was after was kind of the storytelling of fishing. I wanted to see how people describe like kind of a struggle to land a particularly like difficult fish, or like what you say when someone catches a really enormous fish, or when the conditions on the river are exactly right for fishing. I wanted to see how people were speaking about it. So yeah, and then there was something else that I wasn't looking for, but which came as well, which was the more I read of these kind of fishing novels and fishing stories and memoirs, the more I got a sense of the kind of really like slow, meditative coexistence with the river that's part of fishing, and the way that the silence, the waiting, the way you kind of blend in with the riverbank. And that meant that by the time I started translating this book, I felt like I'd already kind of sat and watched a lot of rivers go by, and that just felt like great preparation for translating a book where the river plays such an important role.
Bueno, creo que la literatura argentina de las últimas por lo menos 2 décadas es tan importante justamente por su diversidad, por su exploración, y eso creo que se debe en gran medida al aporte de las editoriales independientes, a la proliferación de editoriales independientes que surgieron en el país luego de la tremenda crisis del 2001, y eso le aportó una bibliodiversidad que creo que tiene mucho que ver en esta especie de fenómeno de la literatura argentina, con autores y autoras, sobre todo autoras mujeres, tan diversas y tan importantes.
Yeah, in terms of whether translators get enough credit for the job that they do, I think this is definitely something that's changed a lot and is changing a lot at the moment. So compared to, say, 10 years ago, I think the picture's quite a lot better. And for example, this prize rewarding author and translator equally is a really amazing example of that. But I think I would like to see wider recognition of translators as the writers that they are, and of works in translation as kind of works of English prose in their own right. So for example, if there's a book that's been written by one of the foremost prose stylists in a particular language, rather than seeing the English translation as inevitably a kind of second-rate approximation of that original, maybe we could see the English translation as having been written by one of the foremost prose stylists in the English language, and that person just happens to be a translator rather than a novelist. And that's definitely quite a high bar for translators to aspire to, but I think it's fun to aim high, and I think at its best that's what translation can be, and it's exciting.
Creo que de parte de las lectoras y de los lectores sí hay un reconocimiento, por lo menos si pienso en mí como lectora, reconozco y me gusta reconocer el enorme trabajo que hacen los traductores y las traductoras para traernos esos textos en otras lenguas que de otra manera no nos sería posible leer. Pero en cuanto al trabajo, por lo menos puedo hablar de Argentina, que es el lugar que conozco. Es un trabajo poco reconocido por las editoriales, muy mal pago. Y en Argentina desde hace unos años hay una asociación de traductores y traductoras que justamente está peleando por esos derechos, peleando por ese reconocimiento. Creo que se han logrado algunas cosas, pero sí que no es un trabajo que se reconozca económicamente y a veces simbólicamente tampoco.